Oh. Today, man. Today, man. Hello, Moose. Nice to see you. You missed me. Now I'm back. I am back. Guys, welcome to Post Traumatic Bliss. You see, I have an email there, Post Traumatic Bliss. If you want to email me at monica@posttraumaticbliss.com. If you want to join me live, I will send you a link. So email me at Post Traumatic Bliss. Email is not working, huh? Because I'm not receiving any email. Thank you. I look beautiful today. Thank you, my love. So, it seems it's hello, muscle man. Nice to see you. Well, it seems like my email is not working. We'll have to fix that later. Okay, I need to call those people. Who is online right now? Let me see you guys. Let me give you shout outs. Who is live? Let's see. Tiago. Who is live? Let's see. Okay, let me put on a mute on myself. That is Moose SJCBW. You're live. Welcome. Ghost is back. Mehmet Bahar. Welcome. I'm very, very beautiful. Thank you. This is post-traumatic bliss. We get traumatized in life, but there's life after trauma, right? There is post-traumatic growth, there's post-traumatic healing, there's post-traumatic bliss. Somebody here adores me. I am beautiful. Thank you all. You're so kind. Double tap if you think I'm beautiful. Double tap and like and hit the subscribe button. Okay. Let me know what you're looking for in your personal growth journey. We do a lot of things here. We do journaling. We do words of affirmation. I can see 20 people here and 7 likes. All of you double tap at once. All of you double tap at once, like da 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 da. Surprise the algorithm. Who is here? We have Anthony Kitomi. We have Gosham. I don't know how to say your name. Giwosham. We have Mehmet. We have Dwayne Alberts is here. Double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap, double tap. We have August Stress 23, 25. Right? Send some love, double tap. Right? Roberto Jesse is back. Big shout out. Big shout out to Roberto Jesse. Nice to see you again. Jedidah is here. Jedidah, my love, is here. Roberto Jose is here. Oh, and then we have Jane Kohanen. Nice to see you. Yanni, is it Yanni? Yanni? Oh, we have Proko Baidank is back. Hello. We have James. We have Bandy Whaler. Nice to see you. Nice to see you guys. I see you. Make sure you're double tapping, you're liking. Make sure you are liking the show. You're sending some love, right? You're sending some, send something. Yeah. Today, of course, we are in post-traumatic bliss. We are living life joyfully after trauma, right? There's life after trauma, there's growth after trauma, there is learning after trauma. If you're navigating life, career, relationship, healing the wound, emotions, sometimes we feel stuck emotionally. This is your channel. You should be here sharing. You should be here talking about it. You should be here sharing your life. Jadaida says, has everyone been nice and sweet to you? People here have been so nice, we are in post-traumatic bliss. People have to be nice because they get blocked in this channel. If they're not nice, we will block you. If you bring arguments on this channel, yeah, we will block you. Yeah, we'll block you. It's how it goes. It's how it goes. We will block you. What would you do without the internet or TV? Have a life? I guess you'd have to have a life, wouldn't you? People didn't used to have internet or TV like 20 years ago. They had electricity, maybe they had TV, but it was like the little small great wall, right? These things, iPhones, smartphones, you think you've seen it all. It just happened the other day. You would still have a life. You would get a boyfriend or girlfriend. You would build a house. you would have kids, and then you would labor for the rest of your life. That would be your life, and it would be beautiful. David Njoroge in the house, right? We have David Njoroge. We have Mohammed Hosni. Nice to see you. We have Alimo Mohammed. This is Post Traumatic Bliss. We have people from all over the world on this channel. Jadida is happy to see me, enjoying myself. Thank you, my love. What Procod by Dank is saying, what would you do to make time go faster without internet TV? You cannot make time get faster, right? Time never moves faster. Time moves at the pace of time. If you didn't have internet, you would have to go work work in your garden, like farm till morning, till don't be lazy. This tells me you are lazy. You just like to sit down on the internet and not work. There's a lot to do. Habitual, welcome everyone, everybody here. Remember, habitual 3 is saying you gotta share, you gotta like, you gotta subscribe. Jesse Johnson, nice to see you again. If you have to go, we understand. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. We are here in post-traumatic bliss, right? We always talk about how to make life happy. How to make life happy for yourself, for those around you, how to continue being happy despite the challenges that come here and here in life. Human beings have always faced challenges. They are part of life. Since the beginning of time, since the early man, then the Stone Age man, human beings, we've always faced obstacles and we have always overcome them. We've always been traumatized. We've always healed through spiritual means, through changing our life choices, through bringing back balance when it's lost, through making friends, through moving new places, therapy. You got a lot of choices to make your life happy, right? We all have a lot of choices to make our life happy. So what are you doing to enhance your life? What are you doing to enhance your life? And I'm not saying like going out there and buying expensive clothes and buying expensive gadgets. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about everyday things. What are you doing to make yourself happy, to improve the quality of life? Why do my hands look so huge? Habitual said Habitual says that I found a technique. Please research LBP LBRP HU Ekanar Ekanar. What language is that? Does it stand for something? Uh, I don't know what you're talking about. Proko by Dank, you sound very angry. Um, I can't find that technique you're talking about. Oh, 20-minute very spiritual meditation, chanting, singing, uh, Okay. Yeah, chanting meditation has been known to really bring harmony to the brain. Like if you just even say, if you say ah, oh, like you say all those syllables of meditation, it's really nice, and you chant them over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that meditation has been known. Even the Hugh one, the Hugh is pronounced like Hugh, something like that. Yeah, those they reduce stress, and they also open up your lungs because you're breathing and you're singing, you're chanting, you're opening up your lungs, you're bringing more oxygen to your brain, you're calming the nervous system. They say you can do it for 10 to 20 minutes, and for calm and clarity before you sleep. And you can visualize yourself with love in your heart and singing, and you release negativity. I like that. Thank you. uh, David Joroge says that is an interesting discussion for me. The gym, swimming, or a good movie helps mostly. Yeah, I agree. Swimming, I love swimming. Hitting the gym, doing your muscle workouts. Joroge, remember to take your creatine. Remember to take your creatine so that you can help your muscles heal faster after a workout. Um, that's the lesser banishing of the pentagram. It clears energy from the fire, water, air, earth elements. Yeah, they do. The traditional Tibetan meditations, they use all these elements like air, fire, water, the earth, all these elements for grounding, for clarity. Um, Very, very, very good. Prokodank uses Satguru with meditations. Everybody has a guru that helps them calm their nervous system. I want you to know that everything that we are doing is we are calming the nervous system. We are healing the nervous system. They're not doing anything profound, right? It's all about the nervous system, bringing harmony to the most important part of our body, which is the nervous system. The reason why I have to clarify this is because a lot of yogis go in the search of the divine, and they're looking, they don't understand what the gurus are looking for, and they endlessly search for this, whatever, blah, 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 like, like, like dreams, fantasy, right? And I want you to know, like, we chant, we swim, we do all these many of things, right? We just wanting to bring harmony to the nervous system. We just want to bring more calm to the nervous system. We want to train it to be able to respond to stress, without going on into chronic stress, right? We want to train it to calm. That's exercising. What Devin Joroge here is doing, exercising the best, because exercises actually mimics the stress response, and it releases the stress chemicals, and then the body produces the painkiller endorphins that actually calm your nervous system. So the more you exercise, the more calm you're going to be feeling. You work like you're badass, right? Like your life depends on it, and your nervous system is going to calm down. You make me nervous and make my nervous system nervous. Yesterday you said I made your nervous system calm. Today is the opposite. Thank you, mining. I never know about you. Um, yeah. Yeah, meditations are also good, but I want you to figure out how to heal your nervous system. We are here healing our nervous system. The thing about it, we are doing it intentionally, right? It's like we are being intentional about it. We know what we are doing and why we are doing it. On this channel, we believe in wiring and changing the mind. We believe the mind is like Play-Doh. It can be molded. It is like, it's like a Play-Doh. You can mold it. This is what scientists call neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to change itself. So we know we can train our brain at any age. you know we know that there are no limitations to changing your brain, whether you're white, you're black, you're Asian, you're tall, you're short, you're old, you're young, you've been injured, or you're healthy, or you're looking. I saw this morning a video of a woman who's been injured, and she's going through physical therapy to learn how to walk again. And because the brain is plastic and the brain can change itself, I told her to keep doing it, right? Every day she's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and she will get it back. That is how powerful our nervous system is, right? You can train it again over and over, the same way you trained yourself to learn to walk. If you ever got injured, you can also train yourself to walk again. And eventually the brain, because it's plastic, it can be molded. It will do it again. It will do the magic for you. If you want to learn a new language, your brain is plastic. It will do the magic for you, right? If you want to learn how to be this businesswoman or this businessman, right? Just start slowly and keep on adding up and stacking up your skill set. It's going to work for you. James, why are you so hard on me? I'm not hard on you. I don't even know what you're talking about. Rocco, your voice is a delight to listen to. Thank you so much, Rocco. By Dunk. Yeah, today, I want to ask you, what do you like? What do you do to train your nervous system to be happy? What do you do to wire in happiness in your life? Because we are very intentional, right? On this channel, when it comes to our well-being and our happiness, we don't leave it to chance, okay? We learn about the nervous system. We learn about our mind. We train it. Just like you train yourself to read a book, you train yourself to do math, you train yourself to do things, right? On this channel, we teach you how to manage stress, how to stay happy, how to stay positive, how to be strong in life, how to live in post-traumatic bliss, right? We also warn you on things never to do. Life has always been difficult on to human beings since time began, right? If you ask the early people, they did not even have fire. They had to discover fire. Your ancestors had to really help you out. You don't have to discover fire or electricity or anything, but they had their own challenges, right? And you inherited their nervous system from them, right? You inherited your nervous system from them. Remember, they had to run away from lions. They had to run away from snakes. They had to run away from things, right? So they dealt with stress by fighting, by running away, by, being active and letting the stress get out of the system. So when you're stressed out, you have to mimic what your ancestors used to do, because you have inherited the same nervous system as your ancestors. So when we are stressed out, what do? We mimic the stress response. We mimic fighting, we mimic running away, right? So that we can get those stress chemicals out of our system. That is why I say pick up boxing, running, pick up, pick up doing things, right? Um, uh, Cold shower switching to warm is good for me. That is right. I love this one because I also do cold when I go to the spa. I switch a lot from cold to heat, and it's very good by training your nervous system to even be able to wake up early in the morning on cold mornings. If you're used to cold, then your body gets very, very resilient to cold. Some of us are living such a very soft life. We only want warm weather, right? We only want, soft life. You gotta train your body to be in the cold and to be sharp. Broco by Dunk also does heavy lifts, but not too much because of the testosterone makes me too frustrated. Um, so okay, at least you know your body. You're listening to your body, and uh you're helping yourself. Sani Matt says he loves the Atimi amethyst spa. Where is that? What is that? I don't know what you mean by amethyst spa. I don't have a life partner. But Hannah and gatherers, human beings were actually more gatherers than hunters. If you imagine, they didn't used to eat meat every day, right? But they used to gather berries and fruits and nuts more than they hunted. So actually, they were more hunters, they were more gatherers and hunters. Like they were more gathering than hunting. So, you know, once in a while they'd go hunting, but most of the time, they were gathering. So your body has grown to eat nuts and fruits and, all those. Your meat has always been a delicacy. It hasn't always been very, very readily available for humans, right? So that is why our body responds to also vegetarian diets and meat. We've grown with that. Massachusetts has 4 feet of snow, and it has been 15 degrees out for weeks and weeks. Yikes! I'm sorry, Jim, but you can train your body right now, right? Shellfish, clams, quag hogs, little neck clams. Like I like this. Like you see, like everybody comes from a very different world. Like for me, where I come from, we don't eat a lot of shellfish and clams. But you see, where Jim comes from, that is, that is a staple food from where he comes from. And that shows you like your body can adjust to even different foods, foreign foods, right? Um, and it depends on where, like historically, you have to look at the history of your people and where we come from. Our people, where I come from, we are mostly farmers, right? So when we are farming, we are keeping animals, we are doing vegetables. Like so I rarely have allergies, right? I rarely have allergies to food. I can eat shellfish, I can eat pretty much anything. I don't even think I'm allergic to anything. uh, yes, but that's really ineffective because cost energy. Arabians plants foods chill, so they built a city, right? Good nutrition. Good nutrition is vital if you want to be happy. Okay. A lot of you eat shit. A lot of you. Okay, let me not say you, but a lot of people eat shit. A lot of people eat like bread. A lot of bread. A lot of like a lot of people don't eat nutritious food, and that's a big problem for your nervous system and your ability to be happy. Because if your cells are starving, if you eat a lot of food, let's say you only eat potatoes and burgers and like the sad American diet and fries and Doritos, yeah, you might feel like you're full, right? But in actual sense, your cells are starving of good nutrition. So you're starving your cells by not eating proper nutrition, and that will affect your happiness. That will affect your ability to respond to stress and your happiness. Coco, greetings. Part three part DNA 800. Nice to see you. Greetings from Indonesia from Coco, guys. And I've shoved enough snow for a lifetime. For a lifetime, Cape Cod match. Come to California. Move. It's time you move now. Jason, Ghost Hunter, hi there. New to your channel, I subscribed and hit the like. Love that, right? You're welcome, Jason. Love to see you. I'll be looking forward to seeing you. Um, Daniel Ozoezi, hello. Uh, Proco says he does a carnivore diet, but not strictly. It's more paleo, but I also drink wine and kefir. Okay, so you do get some probiotics. For me, I always believe in that balancing diet. Because there's a lot that says like if you eat like if you do the rainbow, if you eat the rainbow, that is if you eat 5 different colored fruits and veggies every day, you are also creating a diversity of your microbiome. And the microbiome is what keeps us alive and healthy. So activities like gardening also expose you to the flora and fauna, and it enhances your gut. Not just your gut, but we are covered with bacteria. It enhances your flora and fauna, which is what you want to do. So when people say go just carnivore diet full blown, I mean, I understand there are people who get sick and they go on a carnivore diet and they get well, but there is also that science about eating the rainbow. Should we eat fufu? I like fufu. People eat fufu. Fufu is very healthy, right? Is bananas, right? And like plantain, just cooked in a different way. I'm from Kenya. People with diabetes. I mean, if you people with diabetes, I say, they can benefit from. Okay, this is type 2 diabetes. I hope like it's all clear. It's not every type. Type 2 diabetes, nothing is broken in your body. So it means like you can actually train your body to maintain its sugar, its blood sugar naturally if you eat well. But a lot of people with type 2 diabetes, they will not go on a low carb diet for 2 weeks. Even if you told them like if you do this, it's going to change your sugar balance, is going to lower it and you're able to maintain it, they will still want to eat they still want to eat their sugary fruits. They want to do their carbs. I would say if you have type 2 diabetes and you want to reverse it, it is possible. Like, there are lots of books that say that this thing is possible to reverse. There's nothing broken in your body that you cannot reverse type 2 diabetes. But are you willing to commit? Are you willing to have the discipline to do so? Right? A lot has to do with discipline. And so I would say, get somebody, a coach or a dietitian who has records of showing that they've been able to help their their patients reverse type 2 diabetes, and follow their diet to a T for at least 2 weeks. You will be able to reverse type 2 diabetes. I mean, if you decide like, hey, I'm going to eat kale instead of potatoes, and instead of all these like high carbs, high glucose, like kale metabolizes much more slowly than if you take something like very sugary. And because it metabolizes very slowly, it will keep your blood sugar steady without spiking it the way like carbs do. And that's kind of like the diet that they put to people with type 2 diabetes, so that, but they do it for like 2 weeks so that they regulate their sugar, their blood sugar, so that it goes down and it's not like spiked like this, right? But with type 2 diabetes, again, it's a lot of watching what you're eating, and a lot of people don't have that discipline. So it's a discipline issue. Da-da-da-da-da. Jim Wilson says you need me as your life coach. Of course, doctors know this. I mean, they've written books about this. Like, there are doctors. This information has been written by doctors. It is doctors who have written the books that I have read. Of course, doctors know this. But right, it's not the doctor's job. The way this economy works, the doctor's job is to, oh, you're diabetic, let me prescribe you medication, because doctors get paid when they prescribe you medication. That's how they get paid. Are they going to pay their bills, or are they going to give you a solution that will not help them pay their bills? Doctors are employed by companies, and these companies, they partner with big pharma for medication. So so you understand that this economy to work, they have to prescribe you medication. If you really, really wanted if you really wanted to take ownership of your health, you would read books, and then you would look for people to help you with your condition. Okay, because you understand it's a matter of life and death. But if you're somebody who just wants to outsource your problems to other people, they will give you a pill. There's a pill for everything. There's always a magic pill. There's always a magic pill for everything. For people who need medication, there's always going to be medication for them, okay? But some of us, we believe in changing our lifestyle through behavior. My qualifications, okay, I have a master's, but I just read, okay? My qualification has always been, since I was born, I like reading. I like to enhance my life. Okay. Yeah, well, you really have to go. No, you like you really got to. If you have type 2 diabetes, I don't know if you have type 2 diabetes or not, but you have to go look for research for people who've been able to help patients reverse type 2 diabetes, because first of all, you're probably on medication. Okay, and that medication is helping you lower your blood sugar. If they put you on a diet that lowers your blood sugar, right, you also need to be, it means like if you're eventually able to maintain low blood sugar without medication, then you need to get off that medication, right? But a lot of people with type 2 diabetes, imagine if somebody has taken medication for the last 10 or 20 years, they can't just get off that medication. First of all, they feel attached to that medication. They feel like, if I don't take this thing, I'm gonna die, right? So there is that psychological impact that you, in relationship you have with your medication. So you need to work with a dietitian, you need to work with a therapist, you need to work with your doctor, and they all need to know and be informed by you about your health plan and where you want to go. Like, you gotta tell them, like, hey, I want to get off this medication. I want to get on a diet that helps me train my medication. I'm going to get this dietitian. This dietitian knows the doctor and the therapist. They all know what's going on in your head. In this system, if you're not advocating for yourself, if you're waiting for your doctor to somehow make the right call, like, I usually have to go to my doctor and tell them I'm still not feeling well. I need this done. I need this checked. I need this done. I need this checked. This is how the system works. Like, if you stay there and hope that they'll do tests on you, and then probably they will come with a good theory and keep up with how you're feeling, doctors are busy. Okay, this system, doctors are overworked, they are burned out, they are busy. They got 30 minutes to see you, and they hope that they just see you online because they are busy. Okay, you gotta be the one who knows what is happening with your health. It's the system, you know. It's the system. They don't mean to hurt you. They don't mean to hurt your health, right? But there are probably very few doctors in a very big area, and they have to take care of all those people. It's not that they don't mean to take good care of your health, but it's first of all, it's not their job. Your job is your health. So your health has to be, your behavior and your lifestyle is your number one doctor, right? And your ability to research and know what's happening with your health is your second doctor. The third doctor is the doctor you go to, right? But you're the first line of defense for yourself. But a lot of people, they think, I don't have to worry about my health. If I feel good bad, I'll go to the doctor and they'll give me a pill and I'll be fine. They might give you a pill and you may not be fine, you know. Hey, people die eventually, but you gotta know what kind of system you're in. Just as but what when I black out? Well, I'm not telling you to go and I'm saying that you take proactive, you be proactive about your health, right? um if you have a chance of reversing type 2 diabetes, a lot of that work has to be done by you, nobody else, right? It has to be done by you. You're the one who will have to know your numbers. You're the one who has to monitor your numbers. I don't want you to black out. I don't want you to faint. I don't want you to feel dizzy and all that and all that. It's a big deal. But if you don't want to take 100% responsibility for your health, nobody else will. Um, uh, like, I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying, like, in this healthcare system, it's your responsibility. Um, like, you probably see your doctor what, like 10, like maybe 30 minutes or an hour at most when you go to see your doctor. That's all time they have. And then you go back to work and maybe you spend another 1.5 or 2 months before you see your doctor again, right? They will not be there monitoring how you are eating, what you are eating. Like, they're not there, right? um, so for them, because they don't want to be liable for anything, they are going to give you a prescription so that you maintain your a low blood sugar and you don't, nothing happens to you, right? But if you want to take the next level of your health and decide to reverse your situation, then this is something that you really have to work hard in, talking to your doctor, talking to a dietitian, sticking to a diet, you know, always calling them if something goes wrong, like monitoring it until you successfully reverse it. It's just something that you gotta do. It's your health. No, it ain't. It ain't. It's the food industry's fault and the big pharma. Let's blame them. Okay, yeah, let's blame them, because a lot of it, these people are evil in a way. These people are evil in a way. They want to make money, and we have problems. We have genuine problems. We have genuine problems like starvation, hunger, and we have genuine problems like diseases. So we need medicine, and they step in to help, right? But and they do help sometimes, but the system is not perfect. Okay? The system is not perfect. You're not supposed to trust the system with 100% certainty, 100% honesty. Like, if you trust the system and you think like all the medicine that they manufacture, it goes through FDA approval, so it must be okay. Okay? Hey, then maybe you don't know about, you know, all this pain medication and SSRIs, sleep medication, depression medication. Maybe you don't know about this kind of medication because it's the worst in the world and it's FDA approved and it messes people up. People take it, they start getting suicidal, some people unalive themselves. This is actually medicine that is approved by FDA. Okay. Yes, it will work. It will work at some point and then it will stop. uh, he hit the like button. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Nice to see you again. Joe, have a good night. Um, Best to grow our own food. It equals medicine for most part. Our habits are medicine. Our habits are medicine. You know, small things like drinking water, working out, eating the proper diet, having friends, joining in a community like this one where we openly talk about things, where you have friendships, where you have people, where you're talking about health and you're being reminded constantly, like, hey, do something about your health, right? It actually encourages you and motivates you, right? And without you knowing, over time you pick up little habits here and there and there, and they build up and they build up and they build up, and without knowing, you have rewired your mind, right? And now you're living in post-traumatic bliss. Sunlight is medicine. right, Joe? Sunlight is medicine. Like, we are built to be people out there getting some sun, right? Our environment puts us in cubicles to we stay indoors most of the time. We're not getting the sun. We're not getting happiness. Like, a lot of people are depressed because they don't get sun. And I always think like Africans are the happiest people on earth because we have sunlight all the time. Like, there's always sun. I moved to the US and I was like, people here are a little bit cold, right? And if you think about it, they don't see much sunlight. Most of the time they are in the house, indoors, or it's summer and it's cold and they don't have enough vitamin D. and and I was like, yeah, people here don't smile a lot, like back home. And then, good evening, Tommy Johnson from Oceanfront, Virginia Beach. Man, man, you gotta tell us about Oceanfront, Virginia Beach, because that is just a good place to be. There's some sun there. There's some promise of some sandy beach, and there's some promise of some sun. And we are talking about vitamin D here. Um, Joe, sun, but not only in Africa. I know. I don't want to be in Saudi Arabia though, in the desert. I come from the equator, so I'm talking about the equator. You've been to Europe, and European Africans are mostly angry at the subway because they are missing the sun. Okay, they are missing the sun. Mm. It's the sun. You know, they are. If you put them to Africa and then they get the African sun, which is enough to give you a turn like mine, they will be happy. uh, uh, Moose Omar is very happy in this channel because he feels tenderness and warmth here. Welcome to Post Traumatic Bliss. Okay. This is Post Traumatic Bliss. Okay. If it wasn't Post Traumatic Bliss, right? It's Post Traumatic Bliss. We train ourselves to be happy. Laughter here is the best medicine, right? Double tap, like, hit the subscribe button. Today we are reminding ourselves what we do. What do you do? So now I asked you what you do when you're stressed out, okay? Now let's say you have something like an interview and you're a little bit nervous, or you have to go speak in front of people and you're a little bit nervous. What do you do? When you do it, what do you do when you're on the spotlight and you want to remain calm and confident and you don't want to be nervous? Tell us what you're doing. Tell us your strategies when you're on the spotlight. Whether it's an interview, you have to sing, you have to talk in front of people, you have to do a presentation. What do you do? What do you do to maintain calm, to maintain grounding and confidence? Like, what do you do? Tell us. We've talked about stress. When you are stressed, we run. Was it James Joroge who said he runs, he does exercise, and he calms himself? Then some people do we talked about chanting, like the Hugh chanting. Now we are talking about you're in the spotlight. Okay? You need to be calm, right? What do you do? Proko say, how are you glowing so much? Oh, I'm glowing. Thank you. How um so one of the things that you can do when you're in the spotlight, like, oh, you gotta do a presentation, you're nervous, you can do a meditation. Even a 5-minute meditation, a 10-minute meditation can make you go into that room feeling much more calm. Let's say you go to an interview and you get there 20 minutes before, right? Use like the 10 minutes you have in your car or somewhere, go sit and put on your headphones or put on your phone, do a 10-minute meditation, because it's going to calm you, right? And then you can go into that situation when you're already feeling calm, because calm is your superpower. When you're calm and you walk into an interview, these people are nervous to talk to you because you're a stranger, and you're also nervous to talk to them because you're a stranger, but you just did your meditation. So you have one up on them because you're calm and more grounded, right? So that is one way that you can help your nervous system work for you, like by calming it. Um, you can also prepare before you go to the meeting, whatever. Obviously you make sure that you have your own things prepared, that way you feel calm. If you prepare the night before, you do your mirror work the night before, you will feel more calm. Like when I started like going for work, doing interviews, I used to practice those questions. Like I used to ask myself, like, tell me about yourself, because they always ask you to tell them about yourself. And I didn't know how to answer these questions. So I realized earlier on that I have to I can talk to them about where I come from, my family and my hobbies. No. I just tell them about my work history. So I tell them, hey, I went to school, I studied this, and then I started working here, and then I've worked here and I worked here. And then I practice saying those things until it's like now I have a speech going on. And then Proko says, nervous tactics, box breathing, visualize success, get primer if it's performance, right? Yeah, you prime your body if it's like something you have to perform and you have to appear confident. There are things you do, those gestures that tell your nervous system, like, I'm open, I am abundant, it's all going good. You kind of feel like, oh, I'm open, right? You want to get that. You prime your nervous system. It's really preparing mentally, preparing your nervous system. It's all about the nervous system. Realize how pathetic this material world is compared to your heritage of spirit. And then Porco says, okay. I drink ayahuasca. Ayahuasca. Okay. I don't want you to take ayahuasca the day before the show, the day before your interview. Ayahuasca is actually for like when you're really dealing with deep-seated trauma, okay? It's not something that like you don't need. If you're just having nervous tics, you don't really need to take ayahuasca for that. Exactly. Ayahuasca will send you somewhere else. We're just talking about managing like a nervous situation, a meeting with your boss, something that you have to do there and then, right? And if you think about breathing, like breathing is the most accessible thing that you can do, even in a room full of people and everybody is quiet. You can just focus on your deep diaphragmatic breathings right? In a room, right? Nobody will hear you breathing. Nobody will notice even your breathing, because people are usually concentrated on themselves, right? And their thoughts and what's happening in their head, like 90% of the time, right? So breathing is good. You can shake it off, right? Literally shake it off, right? You can do this. What do you call it? This tapping technique, right? You tap, you tap yourself, right? Tapping technique can help you. Sometimes I use tapping technique when I do something unbelievable, okay? When I'm like, I can't believe I say that. Like, Monica, wake up. You know, or when I want to wake myself up, if I'm not feeling like, if I'm feeling sluggish, right? This technique makes you like come back to your senses, right? You're tapping. Tapping is good. Luigi Guerrero says, I'm beautiful. Nice to see you. Haven't seen you on this channel before. Matt Baker, nice to see you again. Matt Baker wishes that I could talk more on a personal level. Yeah, I do sometimes talk about my personal, my personal journeys, you know. Proko by Dang says box breathing for him is fast for the nerves. Proko, by the way, you're very, very knowledgeable about mental health. You know a lot about this topic of mental health, because the way you talk, you seem very, very knowledgeable. Moose, let me warn you before I stop your comments. If you continue just saying stuff like that, like I might hide your comments. I might hide them. Fired warning number 1. Right? Well, you're not getting my phone number. Okay? Okay, now you're getting my phone numbers. So we're talking about mental health. We're talking about managing the nervous system. We are talking about post-traumatic bliss, okay? This is not about me traumatizing myself, dating people here, right? This is something that I actually want to do for the rest of my life, helping people overcome trauma, right? Uh, e- Ta-da-da-da-da. Oh, oopsie, I did the wrong one. Okay, sorry, Proco. Okay, not you. I didn't mean to time you out. It was this other one. This one. Hi, Juiza. I timed you, Proco, out. I don't know why I did that. Um, oh, I'm trying to undo it. Let me see. Let me see. Let me just do 10 seconds and then you'll be back. Sorry. Let's see. Try after 10 seconds. I did the wrong person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Proco, try again. Maybe it's not working. Okay. Sorry. I tried timing out Moose for 10 minutes because he won't stop. No, okay. Yeah, so a lot of those things we do when we are nervous, right? Breathing, right? Breathing for me is key. Like breathing is the best, um, because it's just so accessible. It's right there. You can breathe, and I'm telling you, it's very hard if you are in a situation where you get triggered, and these are not easy things to do. Like the last job I told you, I quit my job because I was just listening to my boss going on in a very disrespectful tone, and I think sometimes when you're unprepared, like these things, you don't know how it will work, right? I did not breathe through that situation. For me, I just knew like, hey, I cannot work with this person. I've been through rodeo before with people who have this kind of attitude, and it never ends well. So, I just woke up and I was mad. I told them, this job, take your job. I don't need it. And I left. Maybe I could have breathed through the situation, or exercised a little bit of patience, but I wasn't able to do that, right? I wasn't able to do that. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes you're not able to contain a situation. But it's good to have these arsenals, it's good to have these tools. Even if a situation doesn't work out, like, like I left my job. When I came home, I picked up with those skills that I have learned and collected over time. I went for a workout. I started breathing. I did meditation. I calmed myself down. I went back to the program that I have taught myself over all this time. Even when things don't go well in my life, I go back to the program that I have trained myself to self-regulate myself. I was saying earlier, before fate deemed it to be timed out, what helped my trauma was psychedelic mushrooms with good people. A lot of people don't understand the power of psychedelics with and I keep saying on this channel, right? Psychedelics helped me, right? Too. And Proco, psychedelics helped you too. A lot of people don't understand, like when you're traumatized, like when you're deeply, deeply traumatized, right? What happens is sometimes you don't feel your emotions. You feel like a monster because you feel numb and you cannot access your own emotion. It's kind of like being locked out of your own home. Only that this is much worse because this is your nervous system And there are places that you cannot access in your nervous system, and you know that, and you know you feel flat and you cannot access. It's kind of like you've been shut down. And for me, I just didn't know what to do, right? This antidepressant medication that they have out there is really not gonna give you access. But psychedelics, the way I like psychedelics, I like them because of two things. I like psychedelic mushrooms because they taste bitter. Like they're real medicine, because real medicine tastes like shit. You don't want to eat much of it. You know, you have to lace it with some, like I use dates. I would lace it with dates and eat because it's just so bitter. So you cannot get addicted to shit like that. Like stuff that's bitter, you're not gonna get addicted to it. And then you know, it really stirs the emotions for me. I was so stressed out. I wasn't crying. I started feeling my tears, like I could cry. Like that's when I knew I was healing, because I started crying. Before, I was just holding it in and in and in, and that emotion for you. It stars it like the way you star food. Like it stars that emotion until it gets it out and it processes it. Um, if you listen to psychologists, they'll tell you that we heal through integration. If you're traumatized, you want to learn this term called integration, because we heal through integration. That is healing, is coming together, feeling whole. That is the healing that you want. And when you feel locked out of your emotions, you're not feeling whole, right? You're not feeling whole, you're feeling locked out. And that is what they do. Okay. And then Terence McKenna is way smarter than me in his studies on this ancient medicine. Our ancestors is worthwhile to listen to. Psychedelics are not recreational. Yeah, they're not recreational. And a lot of teenagers do stupid shit, right? Like teenagers, let's say they're drinking, they're partying, and then they have stuff going on. They have drugs, they have LSD, they have mushrooms, they have like all these stuff. Like, teenagers they have weed. They're just doing drugs, right? Like, it's like, right? And like that bad company, like having bad company is stupid, right? It's stupid to use good medicine and then use it in company of people who are just drunk, doing drugs, having sex, drinking, driving while drunk. Like, it can become disastrous for stupid people, just like stupid people do stupid shit all the time, right? Yeah, it can become disastrous. So like, yes, exactly. Like, yeah, if you have a history of psychosis, schizophrenia, manic episodes, bipolar, you see things that are not there, right? Don't do psychedelics. Or if you're going to do it when you're under the care of somebody who will call 911 if anything goes wrong. Somebody, who will call the right, like, if you're going to do psychedelics and you know that something might go wrong, okay, be with somebody there watching you, and you tell them, okay, you tell them, if anything happens to me, you call 911. Don't be afraid that I'll tell the police and get you in trouble or shit like that. Just call 911, get me help, okay? Because a lot of people, and this is the biggest problem, let's say you decide to go somewhere like Mexico, or you decide to go to a country like Mexico to do psychedelics, because obviously you don't want to do it in the US where it's not legal. You're in a foreign country, something goes wrong, you want to tell them to call, you want to even write, even if you're going to write some things down, like, if anything happens, I did this on my own. I'm not going to hold other people responsible for things that I did it with my. I call the doctor. I'm not going to, I'm not going to get you into any trouble. Just get me help, okay? This is because, you know, you hope that they don't give you the poisonous mushrooms. Okay. um, hi, hi, Jay. Yes, Win. Nice to see you on this channel. Yeah, I mean they're very safe, and again, you're taking like very tiny, because you understand, like, I mean, these are psychotics too. Like, they can also make you hallucinate a little bit, um, or go on a trip. Hello, Milton, again from London. Nice to see you. Shout out to Milton. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, those are not like, yeah, psychedelics, ayahuasca. Those are not things that you're taking so that you can feel good tomorrow when you're going for an interview, right? Just because you lack some courage. These are like deep trauma things, like real deep trauma, like you need to heal. Like, maybe you've been sexually assaulted, or or you've been into war, or your parents died, like my parents died, or you faced death or great illness, or something has happened, and you can feel it in your nervous system, that something is off with your nervous system. A lot of people, when they know they've been traumatized, they know something is off. You don't need to tell them, they know something is off, and something is off in their nervous system. They are probably locked into the fight or flight, and they're not able to access the homeostasis, the balance, the other side. And that is why you need to access all of your emotions, the calm ones, the nervous ones. You want to feel integrated and whole, right? For example, you don't want to be the person where you're faced with a lion, or a snake comes in front of you, or a dog is barking and ready to bite you, but you're not afraid. Like, you're like, 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 you don't want to be that way, because you may not react appropriately to danger. But again, you don't want to be somebody who's so locked out of their emotions that somebody comes with a present, and they're giving you a present, and they're saying, oh my God, happy birthday. And you're like, it's my birthday and this is for me. Okay. You don't you don't want to be locked out of your happiness and your happy emotions like that. Healing is about integration. It's about feeling whole. It's about coming together, being able to access, right? a lot of parts of your body. Singing helps with that. Psychedelics help with that. Like there's a lot of behavior that can help you get there. But I guess like sometimes you really need to jog your whole nervous system. Like it needs like, like somehow when people are dead and they have to resuscitate them with those things that they do, I think sometimes the nervous system can be so out of touch with its balance that it needs psychedelics to kind of jolt it, like, like, like jolt it. Yes. What about anxiety, depression, and ADHD? Okay, so anxiety and depression are very different, right? If you think about anxiety in your nervous system, it comes with a lot of restlessness. Like, like you just cannot keep still, right? I'm not very familiar with ADHD, but I think it has anxiety with it. Um, with depression, is more like your nervous system has given up, right? Depression is more like, like let's say you ask me for help today, I tell you no. You ask me, I say no. By the time you're asking me for 3 months and I tell you no, 3 months, you kind of start getting the message, right? So when kids are, let's say kids are abused or neglected for a long, long time by their caregivers, right? Eventually they give up, right? They give up trying to get attention from the caregiver. They give up trying to reach out. They give up trying to get misunderstood. They just give up, right? And that's when depression sets in, because depression is a part of you has really given up. Okay, you're kind of fighting with the will to live now, because you kind of are depressed. Like you're like, nobody will hear me, nobody will understand me. I'm just giving up. Anxiety on the other one is like, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. You're worried about tomorrow, the future, right? The fear of the unknown, right? That is anxiety. Either way, the nervous system is the system that is messed up, right? When we're talking about the whether you're dealing with depression, whatever brought it, or anxiety, whatever brought it, the system that has been impacted is the nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, and the way that rhythm works, that system has been affected. JS is saying, what about depression brought in by thinking about life and see the effort is not worth it? If you're depressed because you don't enjoy life, but not from chemical imbalance. Personally, I don't believe about chemical imbalance, okay? I believe chemical imbalance is a BS theory that big pharma uses so that they can prescribe you antidepressant medication, because they need a theory and a reason to give you medicine. They need a reason to write you. Um, life life has challenges as a human beings. Life will depress you, life will make you happy, life will make you sad, right? But what you're talking about is being there chronically, like being depressed chronically and not seeing life very, very, like, very worthwhile living, right? And most people with depression, it's not like they see or misinterpret life. They're seeing life clearly, and the way they are seeing it, it sucks, right? Because their situation that they are in sucks and it's depressing, right? So they, let's say for sure life sucks, right? You're in a situation that life sucks, you don't have a job, you don't have a spouse, you're sick in bed, you cannot eat, like let's say you're sick, maybe very very sick, and you're like, I'm sick, I'm not right. That's a situation of stress. Like, it's life, right? It happens to people. um but there are also people who say, like, sometimes they're given a diagnosis like, hey, you have cancer and you're going to die in 3 months, and they decide, oh shoot, I'm going to die in 3 months, I better live my life now. Okay. Like, they get a new lease about life, right? And they're like, hey, I better live life, right? um if it's chronic depression, I'd also say, like, look for some psychedelic mushrooms and microdose, right? And start wiring your mind. But as you do it, also change your habits and behavior, and read the Bible. I know some people say you don't believe in God and whatever, but sometimes if you're seeing like life is a failure, like the way you shape your mind is important. By thinking that there is God and He loves you and He's gonna take care of you, it can really start wiring your mind in a new direction. Uh, Joy, Joy says depression is a choice. You probably have never been depressed. Um, if anybody could choose happiness over depression, everybody would choose happiness. Okay, everybody would choose happiness. People who are depressed is not a choice. It's not a choice, especially how depression starts. Let's say you had a difficult childhood. At some point, is not a choice. But there are things that you can do, there are things you can learn, and there are things that are available for you that can help you with that depression. And our society is not good at offering and educating people on what you should do. But once you get a good teacher or a good coach and you choose not to take their advice, then that becomes a choice. That you're like, um, there's nothing I can do with my depression, so I'm not gonna do anything about it. Prokodank said, depression brought me to God, positively speaking. You know, and a lot of time depression is caused by not being closer to God. Like, the lack of a spiritual life can really depress the human spirit in a way that so many people don't understand that some of their depression can be caused by a lack of a spiritual life. You know, when you have a spiritual life, you are very aware that you need to cultivate love, you need to cultivate joy, you need to cultivate peace, you need to cultivate an open heart. Like, when you have a spiritual life, you're singing, you're going there, you're meeting people, and you're you're out there in life, like doing the things that are engaging, you know. And if you're lonely, loneliness is the number one cause of depression. So if you're depressed, look at, like, what are you, do you have friends, do you have a support group, do you have people around you that love you? That could be the number one that has caused depression, especially for me. When I moved to America, in a new country, in a new place, I don't have a lot of friends. I noticed that that was the culprit. That was the culprit. If you're eating bad food, you're not working out, you're not exercising, that, like, that not moving your body, and then starving your cells out of good nutrition so that the cells feel starved, it's going to get you. um let me read. Jaya says, I had a great family in childhood, but my mind was fearful, and so much bad and hard lies constantly by adults, and I was above average intellectually, and I would show them the fallacy in their logic, and they would hate you for that, right? And then you lost that connection, right? In a way, you are isolated and you are lonely because you don't have that connection, because nobody is at your level, like either intellectually they're not matching you, or they're not connecting with you the way that you need to be connected with, so that you can feel seen and heard. And that can be isolating and depressive, right? Sometimes even when you are more intelligent than the average person, you can feel like why did I need to be intelligent, because now I'm isolated. Like, you know you can even start wishing you were more ignorant, so that you can you can deal with everybody who is at the fifth grade level of education. It happens. I understand, JS, that you feel that isolated. I realize many adults are repeating without thinking, right? Joy sounds like you suffer from the good fortune of ignorance. Or myth. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Yes, I dealt honestly with them, and still do not do, but can't see as it lost. Yeah, like you're not able to explain it, right? That can be isolating, and that can cause depression. And especially when you see people are just kind of like, they believe in their own lies and they repeat whatever they are saying, like there's no logic to it. It's sad when you're intelligent. I'm telling you, in this world, you will be isolated, you will feel lonely and alone, right? Because the average person the average person don't care about shit. Like a lot of people who come here, is they're like, I want to be your girlfriend. Like, I'm on the internet, right? It's not gonna happen. We are trying to talk about mental health, right? But that's kind of like what they want to talk about. Like, this is the average like comment that I get here. Even if we are talking about mental health, and it's a topic that they would greatly benefit from, it's like, to get people to actually concentrate and talk about something intellectual and something productive, you will feel so isolated. And that can be that can cause depression. The lack of connection alone is very, very depressive, especially for a child. Um, you liken the lack of connection when you're a child, believe it or not, the level of trauma that it can cause, we liken it to a soldier going to the army, okay, and getting all those like PTSD, right? When a child is traumatized in their childhood, it's like a soldier being in the army and facing all that they face, so that they become traumatized. So you have to understand that the mind of a child and the mind of an adult is very different, because the mind of a child is emotional, and children are not able to verbally express themselves. They don't have, they don't have the words, they don't have the everything to express themselves. So their emotions, if they are not validated, is is like they feel like they're in a war zone in life, all by themselves. So that is why I tell people here at Post Traumatic Bliss, if you lost a parent, you are traumatized. If you lost both of your parents, you are traumatized. This, like whether one parent died or two parents died, you got really traumatized, and you're at risk of anxiety and depression and all these emotions. If one of your parents did not love you, if they neglected you, if they abused you, if they ignored your needs, if they were sick and they were not able to meet your needs, these are enough to traumatize you to the level of a soldier being in the army. Okay? Like, these are not small things to joke about, right? At all. and then add the most devastating things like child physical abuse and somebody screaming at you, shouting at you, sexual abuse. All this, right, is for a child is like being in a war zone all by themselves without any resources. Remember, they still cannot express themselves emotionally. They don't have the vocabulary. They don't have the resources to run away from that situation. They don't even know where to go, right? And this abuse can go on and on and on. It is very, very deeply traumatizing. So this is not a choice, okay? This can go on. You may not even know how badly it has affected your nervous system until like you're in your 30s and your 40s, and you have now the maturity or maybe a little bit of time from your survival mode to kind of try to understand like exactly what's happening, right? And even when you do that, you might end up going to the doctor and they might give you these terrible SSRI and medication and these pills and whatever, and all you needed was a space to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel understood, to help you release the anger, the trauma, all that, right? And it can go the wrong way. There are so many avenues and opportunities for you to not even get the right help that you need, or the right coaching. So to tell people like, hey, depression is your choice, you really got no idea what you're talking about. I've seen my 6-month-old niece pass in front of me. My father has been in a stroke state since I was 7, loved and lost. But you either get stronger from these events or you allow it to ruin you. Again, I understand exactly what you're saying, Joey. These events, right? I tell people here at my channel, like, human beings have always faced struggles since time has begun, right? And we have always overcome them, right? But you gotta know how to overcome them, okay? You gotta. I do tell people, don't get stuck into, yes, I'm going to sympathize and empathize with you and your situation. Like Joey, I'm going to empathize with you. Like, seeing a 6-month-old die in front of you is a lot. Having your father sick since you were 7 is deeply, deeply traumatizing. We cannot negate, we cannot ignore the devastating effects that has on a child and on an adult, right? But again, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that, yes, these things happen to us. We cannot stay stuck. We cannot stay stuck feeling sorry for ourselves, because there will be no light at that tunnel, right? We've got to focus on healing our nervous system. We've got to focus on moving forward, right? And healing. And a lot of times, um, a lot of times, people get stuck in feeling sorry for themselves, in playing the victim. I get what you're saying, but it's good to remember that, hey, keep making the progress you're making. Keep making the progress you're making. Make sure you don't go behind. Make sure you don't compare yourself with other people who have had a better life, right? And then keep feeling that, if my parents did not die, I probably would be here. If this didn't happen, I'd probably have done this. Like, try not to get your mind in that place, because that's where we get lost, right? That's exactly where we get lost. But we have to acknowledge our pain, and we have to heal from the pain, right? You can't keep the pain there. That's why we're talking about things like psychedelics, because they help you process that emotion, so you don't feel stuck emotionally, and you don't feel numb inside, and you don't feel like you really need to resuscitate your heart to beat, right? We want to heal the pain, yeah, right? And then we want to get on with life. Brokodank, there is a way to make your words reach people's mind without poking their ego, right? And then a JS, just an observation you might try on those you care about. I never attack them, but when they want to claim fact, I simply ask them to explain more and see, and 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 they see their ignorance, genuine sense, and they don't like it. I'm never mean. I'm always sincere, um I'm always trying to make life better, but trying to fight illogical beliefs is exhausting. Again, right? You understand the nervous system, right? The fighting, you don't want to keep fighting, right? It gets exhausting, right? This is the this is the archetype of the warrior, right? You realize, like, hey, I don't want to keep fighting, right? I don't want to be the warrior. I don't want to keep fighting. You need to become the sorcerer, you know, somebody who knows how to manage their energy. Sometimes you just have to let the sleeping dogs lie and don't wake them up, okay? Just ignore them, let them lie, and don't feel like you're the one who have to educate anybody. You know, you just can't keep fighting. It's going to exhaust your nervous system. It's going to burn you out, and people are gonna dislike you for it, for reals. Let me go back. I think I missed something. Um, Protect yourself, protect your nervous system. You know, you don't want to be in fight mode all the time. You don't want to be in combative fighting mode all the time. You want to be in homeostasis, in balance. Okay? In balance, in homeostasis, and at peace. Remind yourself there are billions and billions of stupid people on the planet, and if they really wanted to get smarter, they would, but they choose not to, and you have to live with that because you share this beautiful planet with smart people, with lazy people, with black people, with brown people, with white people, with animals. You know, you share this planet with everybody, okay? This is this is the show. Don't get too attached to the game of life. Detach yourself, okay? Walk away, okay? Learn to excuse yourself and walk away if you're like, I cannot, right? I cannot. Like, just excuse yourself. Go to the bathroom. For the traumas to profane to speak of, what helps with me is to find the part that blocked your growth. This is possible in meditation or psychedelics, prayers. Mix of the three keeps me sane. Right? You gotta get to where Proco is, right? Proco understands the name of the game of you gotta educate yourself about mental health, because if you don't educate yourself, I can tell you 100% that what is being offered there in the mainstream healthcare system is terrible. Okay, it's not medicine. They are very happy to prescribe you sleeping pills, pain pills. They want they want to give you antidepressant medication that repress, like, they repress your system even further, because the government banned psychedelics. I mean, they banned the medicine, and now they're giving you shit made from the lab. Okay, they make the naturally occurring from Mother Nature illegal so that they can offer you shit from the lab. And you gotta learn these things. You gotta go do your own research. I tell people, why listen to me when there are books out there, there are podcasts out there. You can do your second research and figure out life for yourself. But I do this channel so that I can guide you the right way, right? If if you've gone through that kind of family environment where it's combative, where you're always fighting to feel hard to connect with people, it can be very frustrating. And when you're not really able to connect, like it's just like right? Imagine what that does to your nervous system over time. It exhausts it. It puts it in fight of like in a fighting mode all the time. Do you want to be locked in a system where you fight, fight, fight? Or do you want to open up to the nervous system where you're calm and relaxed, you're not fighting anybody, you're enjoying life? Because that's what psychedelics will do to you. Proko knows this. Proko Baidan knows this. Okay, I don't know much about alcohol, Tristan Santana. I wanted mental health help, but no adults couldn't be trusted. And then in college, that doctors were also just susceptible to bad info. Doctors just want to prescribe you medication, and I think this system that we have of mental health is so bad and it's so pervasive, and it's also self-sustaining. So you will see people, you understand that the profession that has the highest number of suicidal rates, like a lot of people committed suicide, is psychiatrists. Psychiatrists are the leading people in suicide. So you're going to them to prescribe you all this medication, right? And their profession is the leading in suicide because they're unable to help people. They're unable to help people because they get educated in a pervasive system that is self-perpetuating, and then they start doing their job, and they wanted to do their job. They wanted to go get educated, help people, because that's all we want to do, right? And they start working the system, and then they figure out the system is fucked up. I'm actually fucking people up, and they unalive themselves. Yeah, you have been in fight or flight your entire life. That is good to understand. You have been in survival mode, because when you're in survival mode, it can easily be triggered by being with a bunch of family members that don't connect with you. They don't make you feel safe. They don't make you feel hard. There is probably no individualized care that caters to you and your individuality. And so you feel all alone. And when you feel that, the nervous system puts you in survival mode, because it tells you you're not feeling happy, you're not feeling loved, you're not feeling safe. Lets you put you in this survival mode until you survive this situation. Okay? What you don't want to be in that combative environment all the time, because it's going to trigger your nervous system to go back into survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, what do you want to do? You want to fight, you want to run, or sometimes if you've been in survival mode for so long, you get depressed, right? Your nervous system can actually give up, or you're not able, like, or sometimes when we are in so much shock, we don't move. We are kind of like, we freeze, and you can find yourself freezing in your life, that you're unable to take action, you're unable to think, you're unable to take positive action in your life. It is the nervous system that is affected when it comes to mental health, right? Now let's talk about the things that you can do. Take up meditation, because meditation will help you calm your brain, right? And trigger your brain to move from survival mode into balance, into homeostasis, from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic nervous system. You want to understand the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system and do so many things that need you to put you into the parasympathetic nervous system. That means you're not going to argue with people. Instead of arguing and fighting people, go get a music class. Train yourself to sing. Singing is the best activity it opens up so many parts of your brain. It creates neuroplasticity. Very good, right? If you really want to fight, go running. Go running or go boxing, go lift up some weights, get that system out of your body. You want to learn what to do to kick yourself from the survival mode into balance, into parasympathetic nervous system. You don't want to numb yourself with medication. You always want to face the pain, okay? Because pain doesn't go away. If you take medication, what you want to give you is the tools to cope, to learn how to cope with stress, with pain. You don't want to numb it. That is why, for me, I don't like pain meds, unless like I am in really, really, really bad pain that I'm like, okay, I don't want to face this for now. But, like if you do surgery, right, that's a lot of pain that will go after you start healing. But you want to give yourself coping mechanisms, not to run away from pain, because you will still have to learn how to cope with things. You have asthma, Tristan. What majority helped me was pranayama yoga and Wim Hof method. Yeah, breathing, right? I think asthma and anxiety. Like if you have asthma, just know like you may have a lot of anxiety. Is because if you're not able to breathe even for a second, that's going to give you a panic attack. Okay, just not being able to breathe, like anybody not being able to breathe, it causes a lot of anxiety, because breathing is such a vital part of your existence, of your life, right? So I know that asthma and anxiety, they go together. So if you have asthma, you will also likely, your nervous system will also be likely get triggered a lot with anxiety. What you can do, right, like what Proko is saying, you can learn to do breathing meditation, right? Because it's your breathing that's affected. Learn how to do breathing meditation. For me, I would focus that like really on breathing meditation, because it calms your nervous system, right? And it helps you not stay in anxiety for so long. Like it'll help you even after you have a panic attack, or once you have like you have an episode, take even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, do a breathing meditation, right? That way you calm back your nervous system instead of being in that panic mode, right? You calm it and you reset your nervous system back to feeling safe. Because once your mind and the brain starts feeling safe, you probably have less attacks. But you wanna do everything that calms your brain, like that calms anxiety, that is calming. Breathing is good, it calms your brain. Meditation, chanting meditation calms the brain. If you can take on singing, is good because it opens up the lungs and the airways. So singing is such a good thing, because it makes you open up, like the breathing and everything. Get yourself into a loving connection, like people who love and care for you, people you feel safe around, because when you're going through something with your health, you still want to be surrounded by people who genuinely care and love you. and want to support you. You want to calm everything that you need to do to calm your nervous system, because you're more likely to have anxiety and even panic attacks, because not being able to breathe can really make your nervous system very panicky, because this is a vital activity for life. But also knowing that you have anxiety because your nervous system gets anxious whenever it's not getting enough air, that can, at least that tells you something like, hey, your nervous system is working the way it should be. Because if it wasn't anxious about it, then you would not be responding appropriately to something that's life threatening as not breathing, but it's responding in a very intelligent way. So all you gotta do is accept, like, hey, I have an intelligent nervous system, and it just is scared sometimes when I'm not breathing, and I'm going to do things to calm me down. I'm going to do breathing exercises. I'm going to sing. I am going to put myself in this space, right, where I am calm. Breathing will calm your nervous system. Learn pranayama. If there's anything you can learn that. And Proko here, Proko, you're good with this thing. I love it. I love to have you here on this channel. Love it, love it. Jaya says, my entire life I was treated as lazy because I'll be wild, exhausted, but managed to be accepted because I could produce academically. Could barely think in college, but did electrical engineering and had offers for PhD from professors, but I knew I couldn't perform because my mind was so loud and fought me, and I was exhausted. Right? So you have this overactive left brain, right? Um, like the left brain is very active. I'd say also try to do some right brain activities like drawing. Just take your paint and just move it through the canvas without any without any direction, without any expectations, because it seems like you probably had to prove yourself academically to be accepted, and like there's a lot of pressure to be accepted. What about doing something that you actually don't need any accepting? Let's say for example you take the guitar, right? You don't have to play the guitar in any way, shape, or form that makes anything, right? Just like that, right? Just do something that you have no expectations. Like take on drawing, and don't try to draw something beautiful or something. Just draw, like doodle, whatever you have to do, paint something. Don't have to be anything that gives you like zero expectations. Like you don't have to do it nicely, you don't have to do it greatly, right? It's like you need to do those things that are just like, I am just here enjoying my life, fuck everybody, fuck anything, I don't care. If I paint it and it doesn't come good, then that's okay. Like, you're just doing things that are totally like, you're putting in yourself in that place where you truly love and accept yourself for who you are, and you don't need to prove anything to anybody. you know that can be powerful. Doing more right brained activity to balance, maybe you're very left brained, right? Take up drawing or pottery or gardening, something that requires your attention, but again, it doesn't require perfection. um, that will not exhaust you, right? Something you can get lost in. um, you know and also you can choose engaging activities with other people. um, Maybe go to one of those painting classes where they have a lot of people, or take dancing classes. A lot of dancing classes, you, most people are learning how to dance, and they're also kind of shy, and just be there, learn to be uncomfortable in that kind of a presence. Survival mode is also an existential hurdle to outgrow, something that just recently many people are realizing, which is unique to our time. Survival mode is good, actually. Survival mode has the nervous system is very intelligent. It uses survival mode because the first thing the first job of your nervous system is to make you survive. It wants you to survive if you're not in an environment where you're being supported. So our nervous system understands that we may not have support all the time, that life is difficult, and we might actually be in situations where we need to survive. And when you need to survive, your nervous system shuts off this prefrontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, because it doesn't want you to think, it wants you to survive. And that is why, like, if you're constantly like JS is saying, like, if he's overthinking, like, thinking is disorganized, he can't access the peaceful parts of his brain that actually can plan, can think, can form a lot of things, like plan for the future, do, because the thinking is disorganized. And it's meant to be disorganized that way because when the brain is in survival mode, it just wants you to react, because reaction is the best thing for the brain to do when you're in survival mode. It's just the best thing for the brain to do. So if you're in the jungle and you're faced by a lion, you don't have to think what direction is north, what direction is south. You better just get moving, right? You just better get moving. Just, you know, yeah, it could be the wind, but it also could be the lion, but you don't know. So you're not going to wait here to figure out whether it's the wind or the lion. You're running. So survival mode is good. It shows that your brain actually is your nervous system is very loyal to you. It loves you so much. It's your number one system of defense. It will do literally anything for you to survive. Okay. A lot of people somebody was saying the other day, a lot of people in survival mode are dangerous because the brain wants them to survive, and that means lying to you, pretending to be in love with you, pretending that they're your friend, pretending that they care about you. They're gonna do it. Okay, just know, and it's not their fault. It's the way the brain is designed to behave when they're in survival mode. The thinking, the prefrontal cortex, this part of us that tells us morality, what is good and what is wrong, that part is shut down. Okay, it's shut down if you're in survival mode, unless you believe in God and you use the word of God to give you a moral compass, like, continuously. But on your own, when you're in survival mode, you don't have access to that because you're in survival mode, and the brain is designed to shut down the prefrontal cortex so that you don't think, you just react to life. So survival mode is reactive mode, and when you're in reaction, the biggest loser is you're not able to think about the future, you're not able to plan appropriately about the future, you're not able to guide yourself for the future, but you will be able to survive right now. But your long-term goals you will not be able to do it. That is why it's good to recognize, shoot, I'm in survival mode and it has devastating effects, right? Survival mode is also chronic stress, right? Is associated with chronic stress. So if you're constantly in survival mode, it means your heart is always racing, right? You could have high blood pressure, you could develop a stroke, you may not be able to digest your food properly, you may not be able to sleep properly, and all these physical and physiological consequences that it can have in the long term can be devastating to your health and your mental health. So it's good to understand what it does to you. Um, so yeah, it makes sense, JS, that you couldn't perform because your mind is in is in stress mode, right? And when the mind is stressed, thinking is shut down. You're not able to concentrate and focus in the long term, and that is why you need to learn how to manage this vital system. It's your energy system, needs to be very, very managed. Proko says survival mode is, yeah, it's an existential hurdle. We've always had it. It's good, it helps us survive, but we need to manage it because survival mode is not going to go anywhere. You walk into into your office, the boss is mad, he's screaming at you, survival mode activated, right? I worked and I was promoted, but I always thought of lazy at a point because I did come in late, but they couldn't argue with my work. As friends, they just decide to be better. It's like a choice to miss anything. Yeah, I would say in that case, learn how to work out. This tells me that you don't really work out. Like the stress chemicals in your body, you let them fester there, right? um, you 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 need to really have a huge workout routine, like go into beast mode working out routine. Get creatine, it helps you stay sharp and focused and repairs your body. But you need to work out, JS. This tells me you're not working out as much as you should, and that is why you're losing motivation. You need to get out, you need to get your workout every day. I would give you a prescription of workout every day, you know workout every day. um and don't feel bad that you're not motivated to go to work, okay? This is one thing I want people to know. Like, don't feel bad you're not motivated to go to work, or you're not motivated to perform at work, okay? That actually shows you that you're intelligent, okay? The way the work environment that we have is not a natural environment for you to even live in. Like this system that we have created is not natural for humans. Like, we need sunlight, we need to be out there in nature. That is our natural environment, okay? So if you're feeling dull, unmotivated going to the office, you're feeling it, right? Your nervous system does not lie to you. It's telling you this environment is boring, is not conducive for creativity, and that is okay. You're not the one with a problem. It's the environment that's wrong. Okay. You can decide, to use your time off. Okay, use your time off, get some days off so that you're not always stuck in the same boring environment that creates monotony. You can start planning for your future, like, hey, if this job is boring and unmotivating to me, while I'm still doing it, what can I start and plan? Okay, let me put in my charger. Give me 1 sec. Like, that environment can be very unmotivating and it's not your problem. So you want to think about, um oh wait, I use the other one, it's in my bedroom. Wait. Okay, I don't want this battery dying. Okay, you're good. Yeah, so yeah, don't feel bad. It's an unnatural environment. If you're not motivated with the cubicle lifestyle, there is nothing wrong with you, okay? The dread of poverty is tied to survival mode, which is real, is the real will that needs to be broken if we want to evolve as a society. Let me tell you, that is survival mode, right? Um, I mean, we are in a society where bills keep going up. Your job doesn't pay well. You're worried whether you get fired tomorrow. Um, whether things are going to work out in the future, right? That's a real survival mode. Like that keeps us all in survival mode. Um, I do wake up and worry, like, oh my God, what will happen, like financially, right? Those are real survival mode things, right? But the thing here is understanding it, because once you're aware of something, you can overcome it. If you're a human being and you're not aware that this is happening in your system, in your nervous system, then you're not able to make any decisions to overcome it. Like, so for me, when I wake up in the morning, I know my brain will be worried about the future. It'll go into, will I make enough money? Will I be able to support myself? Stuff like that. It'll do that. It's just the normal mind that it just wants to protect me. That's why, you do your meditations, you read the word of God, you kind of try to get this system to calm down. That is why I work out. You work out, you understand, like, hey, I have this system, and if I don't manage it with like a good workout, things are, my mind's going to race, stuff like that. Like you're now understanding your nervous system, you're interacting with it, you're understanding the proper behavior and how to change it, right? So now you're able to keep it more into balance. You're able to put it into homeostasis, into the parasympathetic nervous system. And if you do it in a long time, you are able to adjust it. So even if there's still threat of poverty and not being able to pay your bills, but you have trained your nervous system to be calm, it will naturally be calm. The scientists they studied the monks, and they put like they put these electromagnetic things, and they studied their brain waves, and they see that monks have the fastest and the most coherent brainwaves. They call it the gamma brainwaves. The rest of us, we have these beta brainwaves that are associated with stress. So every day we wake up, we are in this survival mode. But monks, monks are not billionaires or whatever. They're just people who meditate, and they've meditated for like 10,000 hours. They wake up every day, their brain is calm, it is fast, and it is coherent, more coherent than other people, right? All of us, we are in these beta burnout states of beta brain waves. So that means that there's a way you can train your brain to be calm, even if you're still in the real will that you're dreading poverty, right? Monks are not very rich people, right? In fact, they don't have jobs, like real jobs, right? And still, right, they are in this space because they practice meditation. JS says another issue is that if you're hyper self-aware and you don't want to be an influence on another person that is going through similar things, but they aren't receptive mindset, so I just have to remove. You can do something creative with what you know and your knowledge. Like, I mean, for me, like, I started my channel, right? And because I started my channel, now I don't have to stay in the house and wonder, like, what am I going to do with my time? Or I am single, I don't have pets, I don't like for me, I dedicated my life and my time to mental health, understanding mental health. Um, so I don't know what you're passionate about, right? You can dedicate your time also to creating platforms that help people, you know, that 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 encourage people who are interested in the same things that you're interested in, right? Like we are here passionate about mental health, right? We can influence the whole world about mental health because a lot of people have a nervous system. In fact, everybody I know has a nervous system, right? And they can be influenced into better mental health. And also, like if you lead by example, most people will see those efforts, right? People respond more to what we do than what we talk about. Oh, so sometimes you will see me here. Um, I will prepare like something like a healthy meal and I will show it that you see I am practicing. If I am working out, I will show people, hey, you see, I am practicing what I do. Because at the end of the day, it's really more what you do than what you say that inspires people. We learn, through seeing people do, not by hearing them most of the time. If you are serious, check out Qigong. Qigong is a masculine expression of Tai Chi. Let me look at it. This guy. It's like a breathing meditation, but you're moving your body. It looks like yoga. I do yoga. Uh, right brain activities, yoga, qigong, playing music, visualization before sleep, introspection, emotional awareness. And what I want you to do, because in this self-development community, there's a lot. Like you will hear people say, like, do this, do this, do this. Like there's reasons why they say visualize in the morning, visualize in the evening, because now your brain is moving from high stress beta waves when it's preparing to go to sleep to alpha. If you think about the alpha state of the brain waves, is like kids, right? When they're imagining things. How you've seen kids play and they can't tell reality from like they don't know Santa is real. They don't know, like, the Little Mermaid is not real. Like kids are in this imaginative, like, alpha brain waves where they're not very sure what is real and what is not. So when we are moving to sleep, right, we are moving from beta, like beta brain waves, then we are moving to alpha, then we are moving to the delta brainwaves, right? Deep sleep, like when a baby, a newborn is sleeping, their brainwaves are very low, right? They're very, very low, they're very slow, so they go into deep sleep. And when we are in deep sleep, we are also in delta. So when you're in these alpha brainwaves, that is when you can, alpha and theta brainwaves, that is when you can, your brain doesn't know the reality from what is real. And when you do visualization there, or when you do your affirmations, they go into your subconscious mind, because there's a window open into your subconscious mind, and it's easy to believe those things. It's easy to condition your brain that way, like to believe like, oh, my business is great, I am rich, I don't have any financial problems, I am doing well financially, I have friends, i I am grateful, God is blessing me. Like you're seeing your life, you're seeing your business going better and better and better, like because your brain right then is in this alpha and theta, and your brain comes into alpha and theta before you go to bed and when you wake up, before you get into these high stress beta brain waves. So yeah, nice to do that. But again, a lot of when you're just listening to this motivational speaker and they're not giving you the background about the brain activity, and they are telling you to do it in the morning, like some magic is going to happen in the morning, or like you feel like, oh my god, it's the morning. Like, I don't want you to have anxiety about it. I just want you to understand why they're doing this. Why they say this is because they know the brain waves are changing, like your brain waves are changing before you go into delta, right? They want to take advantage of the beta, theta, and the alpha brain waves. um JS says, yes, I like texting because I don't have to see faces, or they can't see mine. More importantly, because that's exhausting most of the time, but alone, like no responsibility. I love learning and problem solving. I mean, it seems like you love peace and you do put yourself into those situations where you want to experience peace, which is good, which is good, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think when you take something like DMT, okay, here we go. That's when you realize you're not your mind, right? And your body is beautiful, it's part of the experience, but then you also realize like, I am not my body. um I am consciousness, and I am inside my body, and I'm also outside my body. Like, I think DMT is one of those things that actually make you wake up to the reality of who you are. I'm not going to recommend anybody do DMT. Okay, and I'm not going to say don't do it. Okay, just if you are tempted, don't hold me accountable for for the waking up. Ah, yeah, I don't even know. Like, it's hard to take DMT in the first place. So you gotta find it, and then you gotta choke it up. Okay, I don't recommend it because a lot of it you gotta smoke it. I don't like smoking. Smoking causes cancer, and I wouldn't. I mean, but it was worth it. Uh, okay. The problem about having it from childhood is that you think that you are experiencing is normal, right, and that everyone feels that and pushes through, but in actuality they aren't experiencing life like you. That is very fucking lonely, right? When you realize that, hey, like people are not feeling the anxiety that you're feeling, and people who've had like normal loving families, well adjusted families, they go through life in the parasympathetic nervous system, and you envy them because they actually don't know what it feels to be anxious. I had a coworker, and I was telling him, like, like for me, I've had to work on my mental health because I've gone through depression. And he was like, I've never felt depression. Never felt depression. I mean, I remember a time in my life when I was like, I couldn't understand how people unalive themselves. Like, how do you just unalive yourself? Like, I couldn't get it. And then, you know, life gets tough, and you start understanding how people actually get there. And then that's when you understand, oh shoot, now I'm getting life, I'm understanding. Right? It is lonely to feel like, oh, you know, I am going through this by myself, nobody else is understanding what I have been through. Like, you're stuck emotionally. Like, for me, being stuck emotionally, feeling locked out of my house, like my heart, my internal self, I felt one time like I'm a monster. Like, I have, like, you know that song that says, I got this ice box where my heart used to be. I could identify with that song because I could feel like try to resuscitate me. I'm not here. Like, psychedelics brought me back to life because I was like, my nervous system was so dysregulated, right? My nervous system was so dysregulated, very, very out of sync. Psychedelics saved me. Those magic mushrooms saved me, right? One of my friend, before I did psychedelics, one of my friend, he died from a brain aneurysm that caused him to have a stroke, whatever. He's the one who introduced me to DMT. And after that, I started researching about psychedelics. Like, I didn't know about it. And he was like, oh, you gotta try this. And so I was smoking this thing that he had given me. It tastes like ammonia and urine, like, and it makes you choke. I couldn't even do like two of them. I did one, and then I felt like my head was not there. I felt like I had opened up into the whole universe. Like, I could feel like people's thoughts, like telepathic, all that shit. And then I fell because it makes you kind of like it's, I wouldn't say lose consciousness, but you will lose the body. Like, you will lose, the body will not be there. It makes you get out of your body. Um, but that is when I think I started having hope about my depression, because I started realizing that, like what JS is saying, that sometimes you experience something, what I was experiencing as normal was so abnormal. Okay, like the life that I had been experiencing from childhood, survival mode, was so normal to me. And it's only when I took DMT that I realized, oh shit, I have been seeing life wrong. Like, that's that is that is when I that is when, like, I saw another perspective of life. I was like, oh shit, like, I've been living in this survival mode and thinking this is my reality, and and there's this all this telepathic shit out there that I'm not. Oh, it unlocked me. I guess it unlocked me. Like, it unlocked me. Um, the obsession with the body is part of the survival reactionary experiences, and I think that is why, like, psychedelics and things like DMT, when you feel yourself, you're there, but you cannot feel your body, but you know you're there. I mean, you will still get attached to the body because it's the vehicle you are. I mean, you're literally hooked to the body that you're in when you're in this planet. But when you have like that experience with DMT, I've never tried LSD or um, or Molly, whatever. But I think when you do those, they kind of they kind of they cannot detach, they make you detach from life a little bit, and sanity, you kind of start seeing things different. I don't know. Yeah. Do you think you have like an obsessive compulsion? I did for 2 years, but never changed the mentor. But it was all I could do to work 40 hours. Then I slept because I was exhausted. Slept the weekend eve. I've missed my entire life trying to be normal, and they don't see what goes in my mind. It never shuts down. I'm always thinking, I'm looking at issues that need to be fixed. I think your brain gets obsessive or with something, like you got that obsessive compulsion, and that can make it difficult for you to live with other people because other people are not that way. And you might get frustrated with people, but they might also get frustrated with you. It might be very hard to live with somebody like you. Like I probably would have a hard problem. Like if we were living together and you are very compulsive looking for things, like you'd make me anxious, right? And like I wouldn't want to get wired that way. Like because our nervous system, we wire each other, like we mimic people's breathing, we mimic other people's mannerisms, and you know um yeah, you may actually not be able to help others cope. Why don't you probably travel? Do you ever travel? Like go to a monastery somewhere in India, go to India, right? Or go to somewhere in Africa. Travel, okay? It's because it seems like you're in your own little world right here, and you're like a mouse doing the same things over and over and over and over. Um, there is this thing they say, a change is like a rest. When you travel is a therapy. Maybe you can travel, go travel even on a weekend. Try going to different cities on a weekend, even if you're just driving there to go just walk around, see the buildings, see something that you're not used to. Be in an environment you're not used to, an environment where you cannot fix anything because it's so new to you, that you just have to be curious about what's happening around you. Travel therapy is like a real thing. um Proco says you're not alone. Remember that the system affects us all differently, right? And we only know one another through dialogues and shared experience. That's true. Incy subscribed. Nice to see you here. um Broco by Dang says hyper self-awareness can be a trap in containing self suppressed energy. Exactly. This is why I say there's in the self development world of understanding yourself and improving and doing these things, you have all these people telling you a billion things to do. Meditate in the morning, do your visualization, run, exercise, blah blah blah, like, and then you might even start feeling like a failure even before you start. Okay, like because they are telling you do self develop, right? And it can create a lot of anxiety, like all these, like, become the best version, like, and I'm not saying that they're not saying like try to, right? But here we are healing our nervous system. We are not trying to keep up with the Joneses, okay? There is nothing wrong with your life. Your life is okay right here the way it is, okay? Most of the decisions that you've been making the right decisions. So the way that you've been doing your life is not wrong at all. And I think it's good to understand like that is where the baseline is. You're not at the negative, okay? You're where you're supposed to be, and you're doing good. So anything that we are trying is to probably help you live a better quality of life. We are not here to change you fundamentally for who you are. You know, I don't want you to become Tony Robbins, okay? Like, this is not what we are doing, okay? You're okay. You're taking care of yourself, you're working, you're paying your bills, you're doing a good job. And if you're not even working, you're applying for jobs, or you're looking for something to do, you're doing awesome. Okay. You're already we are not trying to compete with other people or anybody. We are good the way we are. These things that we are talking about, these are things to add a better quality of life to us. Okay, not for people out there to be impressed by us, not for like, we're not doing it, for them or anybody. These are things that we are doing for our nervous system, to calm our nervous system. Hey, if you think you are in a toxic job and you need to quit it, and you do it for yourself, good for you, right? You're not competing with anybody and stuff like that. Like, this is the nervous system. This is your system of energy. The way you manage your energy is important, right? You don't want to get burned out, right? Again, I don't want you to be like, so I'm burned out, I'm going to quit my job and then not know how to pay my bills, and then I'm in this confusion, right? That's why I say you're doing okay the way you are, and with the resources that you have, okay? Don't fuck your life up. Just try to manage it, to calm yourself down so that you can manage it and make more plans. Like you're doing fine, okay? You're doing fine. Um Jokamak, good morning. Nice to see you. CJ Dinaf, nice to see you. User N, nice skin, thank you. Yeah. Why is my screen smaller? How's my screen smaller? I wanted somebody to jump in. If any one of you wanted to jump in and do a co-host with me, that is why I have a link. You guys can always email me. You can always email me at kanini.monica@gmail.com if you want me to send you a link so that you can join me and so we can do a live together. But you have to be somebody like Proco, somebody who is into mental health. I am not Ethiopian. Let me tell you, I get a lot of questions of whether I'm Ethiopian all the time from Ethiopians as well. I'm Kenyan. So the sooner we all evolve the spirit and the soul, the better the world will be. We are not the container. We are the substance of consciousness, right? We are not the body, right? You're not the body, and you're not the mind, and you are not your thoughts. And it's one thing for me to tell you that, but it's one thing for you to know that. For me, I used to hear all these gurus say this, that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's when I took DMT, that's when I understood, like, oh, shoot, damn, I am not the body, right? And then you will hear people who have had like these near-death experiences. They come out of those near-death experiences and they're like changed, right? People who've done like things like LSD, DMT, they come out, they are changed. Psychedelics, they come out, they are changed for sure. For me, that's why I believe that these things are positive because of their abilities to change the mind. Jonah says I am Ethiopian. Okay, then I'm Ethiopian. I'm Mauricio Japanese grandfathers. God. Okay, I have a Japanese grandfather and Japanese and Portuguese. I tell you, people come here wanting to marry me all the time. I said I'm not Ethiopian. You know, it's never Locelo, Locolio. I don't think it's never a crazy experience. I don't know what you were expecting. Maybe you were expecting a crazy experience. Um, I don't know, and it seems like you're also doing a lot of drugs because you need some detoxing. But it was a beautiful experience. It is a beautiful experience, and this is what you understand. Like a lot of people don't feel those beautiful experiences in life. They're in depression. They're in anxiety. You know, a lot of people don't feel that love or beautiful experience. Like they don't feel it because they've been through trauma and they've been through a lot of things, and the mind does not know what it doesn't experience. It's hard for the mind to grasp something that it doesn't experience. For example, it's hard for the mind to understand that we are conscious and we are not the body, because the mind is so attached to the body, right? Is when you have like a near death experience or you take like a psychedelic and you're like, the mind now understands it because it figures it's different, right? um, so Jess says, I'm very chill, extremely accommodating. I already see a problem there. If you are extremely accommodating with people, you gotta go with boundaries. You don't want to accommodate people, because I tell people, don't be nice, okay? Become the bad one, okay? Become the baddie. Let people know that you're bad, okay? That you're not just going to open your doors to them and help them whenever they are in need. Let them know, like, JS is a bad one, okay? JS, you will not be able to take advantage of JS, okay? Like like you don't want to be that accommodating. You don't want to be when I hear extremely accommodating, what I hear is I have a problem with boundaries. I am a people pleaser. That's what I hear. And being a people pleaser is, you feel that you have to be nice and accommodating to other people so that they may like you. But then when you do that, people cross so many of your boundaries that you will end up frustrated and hating them. I want you to be like, I love myself and I will choose myself, even if that means hurting your feelings. I will choose to hurt your feelings and be loyal to mine. Okay? Make your feelings to be more important to you than, and your loyalty to yourself, to you, more than other people. Let people know you're bad. Let people know that you don't give out money. Let people know that you don't give out time. Let people know that you're bad. You're the bad one. And be happy being the bad one. Oh, Procodong says something important. Says some people have been consuming so much DMT suppressant foods that psychedelics won't be as profound as someone that grew up with real natural food. Yeah. And I think sometimes even when you do a lot of DMT, like magic mushrooms will not really be like that big of a deal. Like I think for me, like I overdid. I'm not supposed to say some things, I guess. I think I overdid DMT, and right now, if I took DMT, I'd probably even wake up and do dishes and then go to bed. You know, like before, I would just like fall and stay there. But right now, if I did it, I'd probably still wake up and, and still like do normal stuff, because I think I overdid it, and I think you can overdo it. And then when you do it, you're not able to, like, yeah, you may take psychedelics, but the mushrooms will not have such a big effect on you. So it's not good to overdo, I guess. But I needed to unlock some things in my head, which, yeah. There is no DMT suppressing food. It's more about having had good sleep and a fresh brain chemistry. I don't know. I honestly, I would need to know exactly what, like, I don't know the mechanics that DMT has on the brain. Like, I know it lowers the body temperature. And this is why I believe in those cold plunges, because DMT lowers the body temperature. Psychedelics lower the body temperature. So there must be a correlation between the lowering of your body temperature and resetting your nervous system. There has to be. There has to be a correlation between the dropping of your body temperature, like your core body temperature. It probably does something to the mitochondria and the ATP energy. That's why I say, like, do not overdo it, because you may cause them to, I think, release a lot of ATP energy, and maybe that affects something. But hey, I haven't done research, okay? Don't listen to my pseudo theories here and take them for and take them for anything. Don't be a slave to your faculties, impressions, if you wish to cultivate your wisdom. Yeah, you cannot. See, that's the kind of, like, that is why there are things that can really help you to there's behavior that can help you move from survival mode to homeostasis, which is if you can fast, if you can learn how to fast, like fasting, like going, maybe for a day with only like one meal, like fasting can help you. Like, and if you're eating good food, right, you're eating, like, once in a while, learning to fast, it helps the dopamine, right? It helps regulate your dopamine. That way you're not a slave to things, like, if you can regulate your dopamine, then it means you will not be a slave to your nervous system or to your survival nervous system. Sometimes learning to wait can regulate your nervous system. That is why things like meditations are very good, because it can help you learn to wait, right? Just learning to fast, learning to wait, um, learning to be quiet. That also, like, just small things, learning to wait, to be quiet, that can regulate your nervous system. First time I smoked DMT, I was on an accident. I was 15. What the hell? Who gave you DMT at 15? But that was more traumatizing. I mistook change. I mistook changa for weed. I could get it in insane head spaces, only smoking weed after that. But it was 10 years ago. Okay, you're not that old. Um, so DMT. how did you get on accident? Like DMT is now something that you get. Did you had like have a near death experience and then released some DMT? Because they say that when people are dying, they actually release DMT. And I think that is what makes them have these out of body experiences. I mean, maybe there is something to it, but I don't know. It can be traumatizing for a 15-year-old. I don't think any teenager should be messing up with their body with drugs, because as a teenager your body is growing and your body has not matured yet. Your brain is developing, your hormones are shaping your body. I think there's a lot of chemistry going on in the body as a teenager. I think that should be a sacred place in your life where you should just be doing, teenage things without messing up with things like your hormones, not changing your gender, just letting the teenage years do the drama for themselves, right? Because your body is changing. But yeah, I appreciate time and advice. And Proco, thank you to all, and have a great night. Good night. Good day. Good day. Good night. Yeah. Yeah, I've also had a great night. It's also 9:30 here. I'm also getting sleepy, so I'm going to end the live. Proco, nice to see you. JS, thanks for showing up. And I always love when we have these discussions, because you never know. You, you never know who might hop into this channel, and what insights they might get about learning more about their nervous system, going to study more about how to change their mind. One book that inspired me about the mind, and what got me into learning about the human brain, is this woman. She wrote her book, The Stroke of Insight. Her name is Jill Bolt. You can also see her interviews on YouTube. Her stroke of insight. She got this accident when she was in her 30s, and then her brain, everything, she forgot everything. Like, she became like a 5-year-old. And then with therapies, like 8 years, she was able to go back to work. She was able to write a book, start going on interviews, talking to people about how to change the brain. And I started, studying about the brain that changes itself, neuroplasticity, how we have an incredible brain. Pretty much the most magnificent thing that we have is our brain, our spinal cord, our nervous system is just so beautiful, right? The way God created it, the way we are able to interact with ourselves, the universe, everything is just beautiful. And when you know that the proper maintenance of our nervous system can actually change your life, you can change your life. You can actually change your life. When you understand your nervous system, you can change your life. And this is what inspires me to come here and talk about it, because I know that if you understand that, if you're feeling depressed, you can feel happy. If you're feeling lost, you can feel like clear when you understand the nervous system, that you can train your nervous system. Just like you trained your nervous system to learn a language, you trained your nervous system to learn how to read and write. You can train your nervous system to feel emotions of happiness, of love, peace, kindness, joy. You can train it, right? First, you can train it by creating an environment where your nervous system will thrive. Where if you live in an environment where you're happy, like JS, get another dog, right? Where you feel like you're happy, you're supported, you're connected. You choose people who actually understand you, people who actually make you laugh, and laughter is it's just laughter, right? Like you can laugh at anything. Like you cultivate these emotions and you create these environments where you can laugh, you can feel joy, you can sing, you can just dance, and you prioritize that emotional well-being. You can create a very happy mind over time, and you practice these things. You can move your mind and your nervous system from constantly feeling anxious and lost and depressed to unlocking these other states of happiness, gratitude. You can unlock those things. And the thing is to understand, like, hey, life happens for everybody and to everybody. uh like, just because life happened, like you had a challenging childhood, there is nothing wrong with you. This is normal. A lot of people have gone through bad childhoods since life began on this planet, right? There is nothing wrong with you. You're going through a life experience, and life is one hell of a thing to happen to anybody, right? So there's nothing wrong with you and your experience in life. You're okay just the way you are. When we are talking about changing your brain, I don't want you to go into this perfectionist mode that, oh my God, I want to compete with everybody because I want them to know I am happy and I am doing well. I just want you to feel genuine happiness for yourself and cultivate it from inside of you, the way that you feel authentically happy, the way that you feel genuinely happy. There is no competition. There is no competition. If life is so difficult, you can always move. If moving to a smaller house is going to make you happy, then do that. Right? If moving to a bigger house is going to make you happy, then do that. What I'm saying is adjust your life without competing with other people. There is nothing wrong with your life. um, and there's nothing wrong with you. There's a lot of social media people trying to tell you to be, they're trying to just tell you to be the version of yourself that you like, that you admire, that is genuine to you, that you're happy about. But sometimes it comes off as competition, and we start feeling like we will never make it to that Tony Robbins figure, or that, like that person, right? They are just telling us they meditate every day, they wake up, they do their visualization, then they run 10,000 miles, and you're like, what the hell? Right? Um, but there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you, you know. That is not normal for people to do all those things every day, right? And I'm not saying don't do them. I'm saying try to do them with the understanding that you are here, you're trying to change your brain, and you have a goal like, hey, I want to become more happier, I want to feel more genuine happiness, I want to feel more connected with myself, I want to have a calm nervous system, you know and I want to feel happy emotions, because we understand life through emotions, and you want to genuinely feel those more happy, contented emotions, and you want those to rule your nervous system. You want those to guide your nervous system. That is kind of like what I would probably feel that is more genuine and more like training your nervous system. Because sometimes we get into this competition with the capitalist system. They want us to have the best house, the best car. They want this material driven life. And then we start thinking like, oh, if I get those things, I'll probably be happier and happier and happier. But your nervous system is not looking for that. Your nervous system is looking for sunlight to make it happy. Believe it or not, it's not looking for a billion things. Your nervous system is looking for connections, like friendships that make you laugh. Your nervous system is looking uh for nutrients, just food. Your nervous system is just looking for just peace and calm, right? Your health determines everything. Your nervous system determines everything. So if we start with calm, instead of survival mode, we move from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, we can launch from there. we can launch from there, because everything begins with a calm mind. And I'm not saying like, oh, I don't have any problems. No, I'm just saying a calm mind where you understand like there's nothing wrong with me. I'm going through life. It's an experience, and it's also a struggle. I'm not always going to be happy waking up in the morning, having to go to work and deal with clients that I don't like to. But hey, I'ma do it. There is nothing wrong with me for feeling that I don't want to go in a cubicle. Like, there is nothing wrong with me. And maybe that's what I have to do for now until I figure out my next steps in life. There's nothing wrong with me. I can go through the emotions and still feel calm, and still understand you know, yeah, I'm not broken. It's a life experience. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's okay. Like, if you're not happy 24/7, there's nothing wrong with you. Sometimes life does suck. All right. Like, um, and so as much as we are self-developing, let's not get into that perfectionism, and as much as we are healing, um, and moving forward with life, let's not get lost into feeling sorry for ourselves and wishing that life was different. Like, you don't know how many times, like, I have thought to myself, maybe if I had parents when I was growing up, and I had a family, you know I start ruminating about this life that I could have had that I did not have, and the kind of person I could have become without all the struggles that I have right now. And I start, feeling sorry for myself that it didn't turn out that way. But I have this life that I have right now, and this is what I have, right? And there is nothing wrong with it until I convince myself there is something wrong with it, you know and it's okay to have my struggles that I have gone through them. And as I'm working to improve my life, whether it's my finances, whether it's my business, whether it's looking for friends, learning how to eat better, learning how to move my body, like, I can be happy with where I'm starting and where I am right now. I don't have to look at the people who have achieved, they have 10 businesses, and I'm like, man, you know I will never get there. I can honor my journey right here where it's at. There is nothing broken with it. um, it is what it is, right? And it's where we are right now. I didn't grow up in a foster home. I grew up in a children's home. And it wasn't all bad, okay? It wasn't all bad. It wasn't all good. It was life, okay? It wasn't all good. It wasn't all bad. But it was life. But would I have wished to be with my parents instead of being in a children's home? Hell yeah. But even if I was living with my parents, would I have had good times? Yes. Would I have had bad times also living with my parents? Yes. Right? So, so, you know, there is nothing wrong with it. It is sometimes we convince ourselves, like, I could have had a better deal. And sometimes that's not so true, because you never know what could have led to one thing and then another, right? We romanticize, like, maybe I would have had a better life, but I don't know, maybe this is the best deal I could have had. What is a nuanced attitude to have on this journey? Your wisdom is as deeply appreciated as your numerous virtues of beauty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rocco. Thank you. JS says, I do like your attitude and think you are engaging life and people from an honest perspective. Thank you for the feedback. I'm not 18. I'm not 18. I am very much what, look at my wisdom. You should see gray hairs. I don't know why I haven't started forming gray hair. I'm way beyond 18, right? I'm way beyond 18. Anyway, tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is Sunday. Tomorrow I go to Sunday. Tomorrow I may not come live because I might go to San Clemente for just for a day, to travel for the day, and I go to church in the morning. So if I don't come live before church in the morning, which is at 9, I might come before 9, before maybe 6 a.m., maybe 6:30 a.m. I might come on live. So if you want to join me at 6 a.m. Pacific time, I'll be here. But after that, I'll go to church, and then I'll probably go for just travel, go driving to a nearby city for travel therapy. I'm always good on travel therapy because I'll be stuck here the whole of next week. I'd better go see something new. Thank you, JS. Congratulations on what you have done. It's a life to be proud of from any starting point, right? Yeah, and all of us, right? All of us, we do not credit ourselves. I feel like when we do not credit ourselves for surviving, okay? First of all, we do not credit ourselves for surviving, and also, you know, you gotta credit yourself for surviving, and then you also got to understand the nuances that comes with surviving. When you're in survival mode, it's good to understand that you will do things that you're not proud of. Like, you're going to do things that you're not proud of. Like, if you see somebody is in survival mode, they're hungry, and they come and they steal food and they eat food. First of all, they're reacting like let them eat, okay? Let them eat, let them have the food because they are hungry. Because morality and survival mode, they don't go together, okay? You don't live a moral life when you're in survival mode 100%, because remember, just the normal functioning of the body, the prefrontal cortex and the most advanced part of our brain that governs our reason, our morality, our that part of the brain is shut off, right? So let's say you stole something or you lied to somebody to survive. It's good to understand that so you forgive yourself. Okay. Okay. It's good to understand these things in mental health. So first of all, you forgive yourself and you give credit to your nervous system for helping you survive. Okay. And 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 to just be proud of yourself. And a lot of people, they cheat their way up the ladder. Even billionaires, they steal ideas from other people because they are in survival mode. They want to survive their businesses, they want to survive. I'm not excusing any of it, right? I'm not saying like, hey, I would say read the Bible, especially when you're in survival mode, so you end up not doing things that are continuously going to make you not be proud of yourself, right? But give yourself credit for surviving, love yourself. Even when you feel like you're not proud of yourself, be proud of yourself, okay? Because the brain did what the brain had to do. And that's the job of the nervous system, to make you survive. It's not worried about morality. It says, I will worry about morality, like morality and being a goody two shoe once you survive. Okay. Once you survive, we will have that conversation, we will have that story. But before you do that, we are going to halt that. That's why I say it's good to read the Bible that way. Even when you're in survival mode, you have good counsel and you have good direction, that you don't make too many mistakes. Okay, you don't make too many mistakes. I'm not gonna say that you're not going to make a lot of mistakes, but you are. Like, for example, and people do get taken advantage of in this evil system that we live in. For example, you see like kids from poor families, because they want to do better in life, they want to, to provide for their families. They're told, join the army, right? Join the army, you will get good education, you will have all this, right? And so they do it because it's a survival strategy. But then they get really traumatized from that environment, because that environment, as you know, with law enforcement and other dangerous environments, they put their brain in a more traumatized nervous system and chronic stress, right? And sometimes they have to come to this healthcare system that's just going to overload them with more drugs that are probably not going to work for them, right? And when somebody wakes up and realizes, shit, I'm in this system, this is what happened to me, right? They can get even more angry with themselves. Like, why did I choose this? Why couldn't I have just stayed home and become a lazy bum and be happy with that life? It could have gone so much better, right? That's why I say you have to forgive yourself for the things you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. And be proud of yourself. This game of survival is no joke. Okay, it's no joke. True morality is different from the mainstream morality. Don't ever apologize for your own survival. Never. Okay, we survive later. Once we survive, we can talk. Okay, we live to tell. Maybe extreme, but death before dishonor is a script. Is a script that speaks to me. Well, if you survive, you survive. Okay, we will heal the wounds and we will move on. We will heal the wounds and we will move on. Okay, we're not gonna stay there and feel bad for ourselves. Vidya-san, nice to see you again. Nice to see you from India. Yes, I remember you. I remember my subscribers, okay? Mhm. And I love you all. Well, I think we've exhausted the topic for today, so I'm going to say the blessing. May you be happy and live with a joyful, joyful heart. And may you be safe and protected from all sorts of inner and outer harm. And may you live with a body that gives, may your body be healthy and strong, and may you be strong and healthy and live with a body that gives you energy, and may you live with the ease that comes with well-being. I love you, love you, love you, love you all. Good night. Thank you, Vidasa, for the like, making it 48. Thank you for bringing extra light in my life. Thank you to Proco. I love, love, love having you here. And good night, and I love you, and God bless you. Bye.